Hello and welcome to DCP SideQuest episode number 20. We got a
20.
great show. Yes,
20.
number 20. It's
Ooh.
episode 20. Exciting. Unfortunately, Briar couldn't make it this week. He's been contracted to burn as much rubber off of tires of old Honda Civics on a racetrack. And so he's diligently burning rubber right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Not good for the
That's a very
environment,
Briar thing.
obviously. But
No, I don't think Briar cares.
that's what I
I heard it was
exactly.
environmentally friendly rubber, so it's all right.
Oh, organic, locally sourced, grass-fed rubber.
yeah, exactly.
Is it
Right,
gluten-free
the
rubber?
local stuff.
Yeah, gluten-free,
Exactly.
non-GMO rubber. Okay, yeah, that
Vegan
works.
friendly.
Yeah, vegan-friendly rubber.
That's so
There you go.
Yeah, so yeah, we got a great show this week. Exciting stuff.
Yeah,
Obviously, because it's also the eve of Shadowkeep for Destiny.
it is. Shadow Eve. Keep Eve. Eve keep.
Shadow Eve Keep Destiny
Eve.
2
Shadow
on
Keep
Steam.
Destiny. Yes.
Yes.
It's
Steam. I can't believe I was installing up
Isn't
Steam
it
today.
weird? It's just really weird. Like, I don't know. It's just crazy because obviously we've had this launcher for a lot of us have had this launch for a very long time,
Mm-hmm.
and then to have this game that we've played for a really long time that had nothing to do with Steam be on there. It's a weird feeling. It's crazy.
It was also weird when Destiny
Yeah.
went to Blizzard or the Blizzard launcher because it was like, I'm used to these
Yeah.
Blizzard games. And now suddenly it was like
the first
Destiny.
That's true.
non-Blizzard game.
Yeah. So that was weird too. It was like, I'm used, like, I think of World of Warcraft and these places or
This
Overwatch.
is for the BattleNet launcher is for super nerds.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
We're not trying to be super nerds.
We're not a
right?
super
We're
nerd,
just
right?
like
We're the cool nerds.
Yeah. Now it's gone into the wide landscape of Steam, which I think is cool. I always pre-order stuff like last minute. I don't know if you guys do this. I know some people pre-order
do.
right away.
I
Some
do.
people take a little bit of time. Like, all right, pre-order time. Like for me, I'm usually the day before, and I literally just pre-ordered Shadowkeep today before we hopped on the call. Yes.
Fair.
Yeah. So
I did it yesterday.
true. Okay. Great. Yeah.
I finished deleting my Bright Dust and stuff for Bright Dust, and then I was like, it's downloaded. It's good.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. So exciting stuff for this
Well,
week.
mine, so yeah.
I have lifted my head out of the apocalyptic world. I don't know what this strange world is that we're living in. Because I've been face deep, knee deep in Code Vein since it came out.
All right.
I've just been playing.
How far would you
nonstop.
say? How many hours have you put into Code Vein so far, Watts?
You know what? Because it's on Steam, I can check these things.
Whoa.
I'm at 23 hours.
23 hours. Okay.
Okay.
How many of
23,
that?
yeah.
How much of that was actually customization?
I think I spent an hour and a half.
22.
22 hours of customization. So you
I think it
basically
was an hour and a half.
so you're about 20 hours or so into the campaign, right?
Basically,
Yeah?
yeah.
Do you feel like you're
Yeah.
coming up to the end? Are you over halfway? Do you feel?
So I've heard that it's about 30 to 32 hours for a full playthrough.
Okay.
So, we're towards the end part of the game, but we're definitely not at the end yet.
Okay. Interesting. And
I'm so in love with all of it.
so before you talk game mechanics and stuff, how's the actual
Yeah.
story been?
The story, I think, is actually really good.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. I've heard. Well, okay, so the reviews on Steam are pretty positive. Mostly people are just like, "This is great." But then media reviews,
Oh.
some of them were like, "Nah, too many boobies,
They're
too many boobies."
They don't like the
are too
boobies?
massive. Every NPC, well, not every NPC. Most NPC have giant boobies. There was actually a boss. No spoilers, because I'm not going to say what this is all about.
unless you're
but
spoiling
she's
boobs.
essentially a stripper.
Okay.
She's like a water mermaid lady, but with legs.
Who's also a
And
stripper.
then
Okay, cool.
she has a pole that she fights with, and one of her moves is she sticks it in the ground and twirls around.
Wow.
It does a lot of damage. It really hurts.
Yeah.
It's very painful.
That's awesome. And the
So maybe
media
that's why.
media has a problem with like the anime side of that stuff.
I don't know why they really had a problem with it. I found some people were saying the story is lazy, which I don't really understand that either. Because so the big difference between this and a Dark Souls game is Dark Souls is very much so like the story's here on the side. If you want to pick up the stuff and read it, you can, but you don't have to get super involved in the
Right.
world if you don't want to. This is very much so like we have a story and we are telling it. And there's a lot of in-depth story with each character in the game and like this overarching story of what you're doing. So I've really enjoyed it. It's been really cool getting to know all the characters because you can also play alongside those characters. So getting to know their story and their background is really interesting. And then you go take them to battle with you.
Nice.
Which is really, yeah. I've enjoyed the story.
That's cool.
Personally.
Yeah. All right. Eric, have you been playing it too?
I'm about only like 6-7 hours in, so I've kind of like I've done what is it? I'm coming up to like the 4th boss now, so still kind of early.
Okay.
But I'm still really enjoying it. I mean, like I sort of went into this with like these are the kind of games that I like anyway, right? You know, I like the kind of Souls games like Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, things like that. So I already knew I was gonna like it, and it's like that with anime, which is a winning combination, right? But I was thinking about the other day, like one of the things that I realized even in the first 6 hours, like playing through, that I really, really like is that the way the skill system works in this game. So because just to kind of like recap for anyone that sort of hadn't like caught our previous COVID discussion, but like you create your character and then you don't select a class like at the beginning. You just have your character, and then you have what they call blood codes, which are these things that you can swap between. And for all intents and purposes, blood codes are basically classes, right?
Yeah,
They're different ways to play. They have skills that are tied to those, initially tied to those. But what I really like about it is that I think back to say when I play games like Dark Souls or when you play like other games like that, you typically find the kind of class that you like playing and you spec into it, you level into it, and unless you're like one of those diehard players that just does many playthroughs, you kind of stick with a playstyle for like the whole game. Whereas this one, specifically, the way that the system works is it encourages you to be jumping between them, because one of the cool things it's got is like, let's say you play the caster and they've got a fireball, and you have if you use that fireball enough, you then have the ability to inherit that fireball skill into a completely different class, like, I don't know, a tank class. So suddenly your tank can throw fireballs.
That's cool.
So you then have this really, and that extends not just to your skills, but also your passives. So you then have to suddenly start looking at them like, I want to get a bit more strength and dexterity in my tanky class. So I need to spend a bit of time in this class so I can then unlock the passive and inherit it and bring it over. So it actually strongly encouraged you to like play different classes, and because there's not as much of a penalty, like if you're thinking like Dark Souls and you're like, suddenly you want to respec to become like a mage. Obviously, there's like a lot of reworking to do. This one's very simple. You swap your blood code. Largely speaking, there's a decent weapon crossover. So there are some weapons that you can't use. Like if you're a caster, you can't wield like a massive greatsword, and that's understandable. But generally speaking, there's enough crossover where what you're currently wearing, you can probably still use in the next class, and you're very quickly into it. And you know, there's nothing, and none of it sort of like leaves you too massively open. But I think it already, like even in the first, like say 6-10 hours of gameplay, like you can still get quite a bit of variety between them, and it's they make that very accessible. So I think that was quite a nice system.
It is. Yeah, it's really cool. Speaking to that, I was using a bayonet, which is, you know, you have a gun. You can slash with it, but it does have a long range attack that you can shoot with. And I had a build that was all about like dark magic and ranged attacks. And then I found another blood code that was really good with physical attacks. And it had some really cool stuff in there. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to go and switch to a sword. So I switched to a sword, and instantly I'm a completely different class. I'm playing the game in a completely different way.
That's really cool.
And there's no downtime between those switches. And it's pretty amazing as you go through the game and you keep finding all these different blood codes. There's a lot of them. There's a lot. Every time I find a new one, I'm like, there's another person? It's got the, geez, okay. There's another thing to look at. It's a lot.
Because I wasn't sure if like I'd already encountered, because I completed like 2 rows and I thought, that looks like UI wise it looks quite clean. So I was like, maybe
how many rows would I have? 5 rows at the moment? 5.
What? There are that many?
Yeah. There's a lot, and I'm still finding more. There's still blood codes I haven't.
And these are considered like skill trees?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. So you have all of those, like, so say that's 15. That's like 15 different classes, and then within those classes, you probably have 8 skills or something like that.
Holy crap.
Ish.
That's
and you can learn all of them and then mix and match whatever you want to do. So there's a lot to it. And even so, there's also this thing called blood veils, which are like the jacket you wear. And that affects what kind of attack you do when you drain blood from your enemies. And even those, there's not a whole lot of variety in terms of the different attacks they have, but they all look different. So you might get one that was the same variant as one you had earlier, but now it's got spikes on it. Maybe it's a different color. It's like got feathers on it or something. So even when you're finding those new coats to wear. It's really exciting because they all look different. And they have everything affects your stats. So like your strength, your vitality, your pierce damage, your dark magic damage, and everything can be changed just whenever you want it to. It's really cool.
So if there's that many like classes, skill trees, type of stuff that you can collect throughout the game, I'm assuming there's a lot of replayability with like New Game Plus. Obviously, you haven't finished it yet, so you can't say, but like, I'm assuming New Game Plus exists. And
yeah, there's definitely a New Game Plus. You keep all of your stuff, so you can just like go and unlock more stuff if you want, or like spec into something else and do a different playthrough. There's DLC coming because there's a season pass.
Nice.
So they're going to be adding to the game too, and they're going to be adding more of those blood codes of the classes.
Wow.
So yeah, it's kind of, so when this game was announced and I saw it, I was like, yes, because as Eric said, this is my thing. I love any type of Souls-like game, and I love the anime aesthetic so much, and the character customization is ridiculous. So it's kind of played exactly how I wanted it to. It's really kind of been everything I wanted from the game. Feels good, story's interesting.
How difficult has the bosses been? Boss fights, because you know Souls games, they have this thing about the boss fights being this super epic thing with the score and the music and like the cursing and yelling at these hitboxes that are ridiculous, and then you overcome it. Like how's that feel?
The difficulty of the game is definitely not as difficult as Dark Souls, especially as you have your AI partner. So you can choose to not take them with you. So if you do want more of like a Souls type experience, you don't have to take the AI partner with you, and then you'll be alone, which I probably would have done if I wasn't trying to fit this game into 5 days of completing it. I probably would have just been like, okay, let me just play without somebody. So yeah, having that, but that's kind of good for people who maybe find Souls games to be a little bit intimidating. You can choose to have someone with you, and the AI is actually useful. They will res you, they do a bunch of damage.
Nice.
They have support skills. So if you're someone who found yourself in a Souls game that it's a little bit too difficult, you can add them, and it's not bad at all.
Okay.
It's completely manageable. There's definitely some situations where you're like, okay, this one is a little bit more difficult. So there's some that have been pretty easy. There's some that have been difficult. I think there's a boss that I haven't reached yet that I've heard is really, really difficult. So I'll be interested to see. But yeah, the AI can carry you. They will straight up just like shoot a fireball, and you're like, oh, they're dead. Cool, thanks. That's great.
That did happen to one of the ones that I was fighting. There was like super early on, like the second boss was like this poison butterfly.
Yeah,
and
she's
like
a bitch.
Super annoying. Like every time I was trying to get closer, she got poison clouds. And
she was difficult actually. She was actually one of the harder bosses. She was tough.
Yeah, but then afterwards, after a little while, my AI teammate would just throw a fireball. I'm like, wait, that does a lot of damage. I'm just like, let me just run around the room for a little bit. I'm like, well, half the health is gone, and I'm pretty sure I've only hit you once. But hey, let's go with it anyway.
That's funny.
But no, but I think on the difficulty as well. I think it definitely feels a little bit. I mean, at least if I think to kind of my Dark Souls experience, when like the first few bosses in there, like I didn't have the same level of challenge, but at the same time, you still get like a decent challenge from it. Like I haven't gone straight into, apart from the tutorial boss, I haven't gone straight into any of them and just done it straight away. There's normally like the good few first times where you get killed quite quickly because you're like, all right, I don't know your move patterns, and you're like, oh, suddenly you can do that, okay, and then but then you have the sort of like 3, 4, maybe 5 deaths, and then you start to sort of see it and piece it together. And then in typical Souls fashion, you invariably die because you get greedy, and you're like, I can get one more hit. It's like, no.
Oh my god, it's always that you see their health bar and nothing, and you're like, I just gotta hit him like twice, and that's the time that I will die. Is when I'm just like, they're about to die. I'm going in.
Your stamina's just got like a little smidge, and their health bar is just a smidge. You're like, I can do this.
Like, I did that on the most recent boss, and luckily it paid off. But I've started taking a great sword because I'm like, you know what? I'm adopting the hit and run strategy, but I'm like, I want to at least make sure if I do one hit, I want my hit to count. So I've been taking the big hefty sword. I can swing it like 3 times and I'm out of stamina. So, and I went to finish the most recent boss. I was like, I literally need to hit it twice. I'm gonna swing this second time, but if I miss, I'm dead.
Yeah,
it paid off. But
there's even actually there's one blood code that I'm pretty sure just has one ability in it, and it's where you basically choose to do a giant thing of damage, but you die soon after.
Oh wow.
So you have the option of like, this boss is about to die, I got no health left, let's just explode them. But then you will die. But then you would have completed the boss, so
true.
So you're fine.
Okay, so here's a question
Also-
on death.
Okay.
Go on.
What are the circumstances with death? Like, do you lose blood or something, or like
You lose your haze.
your haze? Okay,
Yes, which is basically souls. It's your currency. You
okay.
use that for everything, learning abilities, leveling up, upgrading your weapons, all that
Do you lose
stuff.
all of
You
it, or
use
do you
for that.
lose a portion on death?
You lose.
I think you lose all of it.
I think you
I
lose
think
all of
you
it.
drop it all.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, I
like
think
in
it's
typical
all
one,
of
you
it.
have to then run back and go and get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
die,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's all of it.
if you die again without recollecting, does it disappear then?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. So
Yep.
yeah, like souls.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Interesting. And that's the currency. You invest that currency into your skill tree to unlock passives and all that? Or is that different?
Yes. Yeah. So whenever you go to basically this game's versions of like bonfires, they're called mistals in this
Mhm.
one. You go there and then you can either put it into your character to level up your base stats, or you can put it into your blood codes to unlock skills. And then
Interesting.
so you kind of have to do this sort of like the sort of choosing thing. Like you go and you're like, all right, do I want to unlock this new skill right now, or do I just want to put like do like 3 or 4 level ups and just upgrade my typical base stats? So
Mhm.
you have that sort of choice thing, which is pretty cool, because then you're like you can never sort of just suddenly pile it into one thing and then have everything unlocked. So there's a lot of like deliberate choices around it, which is interesting.
That's cool. So I imagine at a certain point, if you invest enough time, you could have all these skill trees unlocked, mastered, and have just some mega character. Yeah.
I reckon so. Yeah.
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 But
And
I
then
mean, you
just
can
take-
only inherit. Okay.
No, so you on your active bar, there's 8 that you can use.
Yeah.
8 skills. But of course, if you learn everything, you can switch it for whatever you want. So you come against an ice boss, you're like, maybe I just want to use a bunch of fire stuff, and then you have access to all of fire. You have the ice resistance. You have everything you need, and that will make it. I mean, that will make fights easier for sure if you have everything unlocked.
cool. Sounds fascinating.
It's really cool. I
Yeah.
think they did a phenomenal job.
That's
on
really
the
cool.
game.
How varied are the landscapes? Like the areas that you go through? Like,
So I've been in how many different areas now? Maybe 7, and that ranges from a desert, snow, a city, like cathedral looking thing. So there's good variance in the different levels that you go to. I
Mhm.
think I have heard some people say that the areas feel kind of bland, but I think what Code Vein has done and what they did deliberately is they try and make, so you go to one area, say it's a snow area. The snow area will all look the same within that area. And it's to confuse you. It's to make you get lost. So you feel like you're in a maze and you're like, oh, look, there's another staircase with another ladder. Oh, that's the same staircase. No, it's not. It's a completely different staircase and a different ladder because things look very similar.
Okay.
So I don't personally mind that because it makes it to where you really have to learn the environment
Right.
to learn your way around.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't mind it. But yeah, it is set up to make you feel like you're in a maze. A lot of the places.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of variants. There's lots of different scenery. You're not just going to see the same thing. You're not just in a dungeon like the higher.
How about enemy variety? Is there a lot of enemy variety?
Yeah, I would say so. I fought. I wouldn't even be able to say how many variants I fought, but yeah, I would say so. Each area will have a new thing that you will come into or encounter. There will be some that you've seen before, but yeah, every new area that I've been to has had a new combatant for you to fight.
Do they have new movesets too? Different types of attacks? Yeah. Nice.
Yep.
I always find that for like Souls style games, it's very important to see enemy variety where like, if you get used to one attack, you start defaulting to countering that attack with a specific way. And then suddenly they introduce a new character that completely defies what you were been doing and just whoops you for a bit. And you're like, oh, I see. I've got to do this type of dodge.
The thing that really trips me up with Code Vein is there'll be one character, say it's like a tall woman combatant, and she'll have a sword. There'll be another one that looks exactly like her, but she's using like a pole arm. Or there'll be one with a sword and a shield. So then I see it and I'm like, all right, I know what I'm doing. And then they do something and I'm like, oh, that's new. That's not the same.
That's great.
That's the one thing that annoys me is that like enemies with sword and shields, I want a sword and shield. I like sword and shields in games. And those ones, the ones that you think are like the typical trash mobs, they'll ruin you because they'll go up and they'll clown on you because they'll parry.
Oh,
They'll
okay.
And like
parry
so
you,
you go to do it, and then suddenly you're like, wait, that's what I'm supposed to be doing to you, and then they'll just parry you. Like, oh no, now I feel like an idiot, and they'll get you. But yeah,
That's funny.
I do hope in like the DLC they add weapons, because sword and shield, I feel like archetype wise, this game's got a lot of things covered. Like you've got a great sword, you've got axes, you've got like pole arms, you've got the bayonets, you've got the fast swords.
Yep.
But there's no sword and shield. Like all these games have some kind of some sort of sword and shield. So I feel like that's a missing.
They're saving it with their sword and shield blood code for later.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I pray.
How's the parry system? How's it feel?
Do you want to speak on that, Terrence?
I am really bad at parrying in any game, but it's a very cool system because it ties in with your blood veils. So you can so there's a few different blood veils. So for example, that's
your coat that you're wearing?
No, so your blood code is like your class. Your blood veil is initially it's sort of like the jacket you wear, but then it'll also have the different form whereby when you do your blood cipher move. So one of them, for example, is a scorpion tail. One of them is like 2 Cerberus dog heads that come out. One of them is like these spikes that come out the ground. So depending on the blood veil you have, they have different parry timers. So like the scorpion tail is quite quick, like a tail which comes up straight in front of you. So it's kind of like 1 second ahead of the attack. Meanwhile, the Cerberus dogs are a little bit more like build-up time before they actually go into the parry. So you have to learn different timings depending on the blood veil you have. But the cool thing about them is that then they'll like on a typical fashion, if you're surrounded by lots of enemies, then your parry just kind of goes into normal combat. You parry them, you attack as you'd expect.
Okay.
But if they end up being like the last enemy in that group and there's nothing else around it, it goes into this cool sort of cinematic finisher. So if you've got like the scorpion tail, it will like launch them up into the sky, and it will like the camera angle will change because there's nothing else around there.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So they actually look pretty cool. But
they do.
Yeah, as somebody that is notoriously bad at parrying, I'm always like, I could roll, I could parry. At least if I roll, I'm not going to die. If I parry, I'm probably going to mess up the timing and I'm going to get slapped. So yeah.
What's the benefit of the parry? Does it open up like a big window for attack? Does it like increase your damage?
It also drains the it's called I call it Icor, but I'm sure people call it Icor. But it's basically like your MP, your magic power.
So you gain magic points by parrying?
Yeah, any of the stuff that uses your blood veil where you're like sucking on them in any kind of way. That will always. It's called a drain attack. You're draining. It's basically sucking. We're vampires.
Okay.
Yeah. So anytime you do that, it will give you MP basically to use any of your abilities, your magic or your skill abilities, any of that stuff. So yeah, parrying will do that. Back attacks do that. There's like a launch attack you can do when you're focused in a focus state. So all of those will drain, which allow you to use all of your abilities instead of just auto attacks.
Sounds cool. Sounds fun.
Yeah, it's been really great.
Yeah,
had a good time. And there's ways for when you're learning a new blood code. One of the ways they do it as well is you can pick up these things called vestiges around the map, and the vestiges are like lost memories of the people who were owners of that blood code. So you'll walk around and you'll hear a voice. And you're like, that's a different voice. What is that? And that's kind of telling you that the vestige is around. And you want to collect those vestiges because when you have all of them, you unlock that person's blood code. And the really cool thing is that you can choose to restore the memory of that. And you get to actually live a memory of that person. So you're finding out about this person whose blood code you could be using. So I think they do a really good job of making you feel like, oh, I want to use that blood code because I really liked that character. So I want to use what they used. So I really like that
they're all vampires. These blood codes, essentially.
Vampires.
Past vampires.
People were die and then brought back as revenants, which are vampires. Basically, they need blood to survive.
Gotcha. So you're feeding them the blood. Makes sense.
But it's really sad when you find a blood code of someone who's dead and you're living the memory. You're like, oh, that's how they died. Oh no. And now I have Kevin. Kevin's in. Damn it, Kevin. It's very sad. But it's just been so good. I have very little negative to say because I've just loved everything. Being able to switch my weapons on the fly whenever I want is really cool because I can just be like, I want to try being a magic person or a sword or a giant axe person, and it's so easy to do that.
Nice.
So I know some people came into the stream and they're like, how do you respec? I'm like, you don't need to. You just go unlock the thing you want. You don't need to respec ever. So there's never that feeling of crap. I wish I didn't go into that tree.
Gotcha. You swap the play styles essentially.
Yeah.
Huh.
You can just switch it whenever you want.
That's cool. That's really cool.
It's really cool. Yeah.
Does that affect replayability for a new character then? Because you wouldn't really want to start with a brand new character again, or is there more replayability beyond that?
I mean, I'd say I think if you, given that there's, I mean, I didn't even realize that, but given there's so many more blood codes, I think it's probably one of those ones where if you replayed it, because you can keep all of that, you probably just continue to unlock things you maybe didn't unlock before or something like that.
Right.
So I mean, potentially, yeah. The fact that you don't necessarily choose a fixed class, maybe it means that you, as you say, like you've unlocked everything. You're like, do I need to? But I think if you kind of got to the end of the game and you're like, well, there's still so many things I haven't unlocked, then maybe that would be your driver for it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So you want to try and aim towards unlocking every single skill and then
100%ing the code veins.
making different builds and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. I like it. I want to play this game, but Shadowkeep comes out tomorrow.
I know.
It's difficult, yeah.
It's been really
And
good.
I found out recently, thanks to someone on Twitter, that you can, technically speaking, actually have beards in this game. They
What?
don't have beards, and there
with
is
the
no bald,
accessories?
right? But yeah, because you have the accessory system, which is really cool. Like, it's kind of what we mentioned like back during the beta. Like, even though it doesn't have bald and beards, it's still one of the best character creators I've had because it's got all the accessory system you can do. But because part of the accessory system is that you can put like hair extensions on like normal hairstyles, what you can do is you can then put a hair extension on, but then make it so long that it goes inside the head and comes out the chin, so it becomes a beard. But then I realized the reason they probably didn't. Yeah, exactly right. But then I realized the reason they probably didn't do beards is because you spend half the time with like a gas mask on because you need to use it to live in the whatever the area is called. So probably wouldn't make sense. But I was like, at least you can have a beard to a degree.
Right. That's fair.
It does use up all your accessory budget though, so you need to be like, yeah,
You would just be the bearded man. That's it. No tails.
exactly.
No fancy
Nothing.
top hats. No.
Accessory
No fancy.
budget.
I've got like I made my character instead look like a really, really evil like anime supervillain with like face paint on. But then I take away the seriousness because he's got an onigiri on his chest, like a little rice ball.
Oh, perfect.
That's like his little pin badge. So he's like super serious, but then slightly not so.
He's
much.
like, but I like rice balls. So
Exactly. I claim it's like my packed lunch. I wear it on my chest. If I run out of blood, I'm just gonna eat this rice ball.
That's funny.
That's the story for my character.
My story of my characters, so one of her eyes is blue, the other one is like a red color. So the blue is like crystal clear, like a beautiful ocean, and then the red one's very dark. And my story behind her is that she has a powerful eye.
A power eye?
Don't get caught by her powerful eye.
Okay.
That's when you know it's bad. She's also a cat.
Yeah.
Girl. Cat girl.
Gonna rip you up and lap up the blood.
Yes.
Nice.
Exactly.
Well, cool. Yeah, I'm excited to play Code Vein sometime in the future when I realize I can have time to play it. Be fun.
Do it. I wanna see the anime playthrough.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. During any downtime, I highly recommend when there's downtime to play this. I think you'd love it, Tufty.
Yeah.
I think you'd have
It's definitely the type of game that I would enjoy playing. I wish there was like a week that I could focus on it.
Yeah, I wish I had more time
Right.
with it. Because I'm like, oh, I want to go and 100% this map, but am I going to finish the story if I do that? I don't know.
Right.
Maybe not. So maybe I should do the story first and then 100%. I don't know.
I feel like collecting all the I guess the codes. Collecting all the codes seems like a really enticing prospect because you're like, oh,
That's what I want to do.
new skills, new moves, new passives, all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, after you've done with an area, you've 100% of the area, you've killed the boss of the area, you go back and NPCs have quests for you.
Oh, wow.
So you go back there and you can go and collect stuff for them, or they'll be like, oh, I can't go past this road because there's a terrible monster, and you go kill the monster for them. But they give you upgrade materials or really useful items
Nice.
by doing that.
Nice little RPG aspect about that. Redoing areas. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so fully completing the game will probably take a while to do everything. Collect everything, 100% everything, grind everything out. Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
So, State of Play happened last week. We had speculated somewhat about State of Play.
We did.
And then it happened. What's the highlights?
Yeah.
There was no Elden Ring, so
bummer.
There was not.
No.
Unfortunately. And nothing on the actual console. There's still refusing to really say much about it. But I think to be fair, I think the main thing was like everyone knew like there was all that kind of teasing going around. The big thing was Last of Us, which is precisely why they left it to the very end of State of Play, and they made us sit through random announcements that, no disrespect to games, but we didn't really care about half the announcements. We just wanted to know about Last of Us.
We're
Let's be
tuning
honest.
in for the.
Although there is, yeah. I mean, there is going to be a VR version of LA Noire. So if that's your thing, then that's grand.
VR version of LA Noire.
Yeah, the VR case files.
Wow.
So you can kind of go around and VR it up and solve cases if you so wish.
Interesting. Huh.
Which could be interesting. Although there was actually an interesting game. The Humanity game looks kind of funny. Like it's another VR one with like hundreds of people. But more interesting, like there is that new game. Again, we haven't seen a great deal from it, which is the Watam game, which is from the guys that made Katamari Damacy. And just because that is just a stupidly crazy game, I'm kind of interested to check this one out. Like it's. Have either of you ever played Katamari?
No.
I did not play. No, I know about it.
Okay. Yeah. So it's just the little guy with the weird big green head who rolls a little ball around, and then it picks up everything, and then it gets progressively bigger. And as it gets bigger, you can pick up more stuff to the point where you're eventually rolling it around, picking up like tables and buildings and like cows and everything.
Wow.
It's a very weird, crazy game. But it's just one of those sort of chill out games that you wouldn't play it for like an extended period of time. You definitely wouldn't stream it for like 2 or 3 hours, but you might just sort of sit down and just like chill out for half an hour and be like, let me just roll around this thing. So those kind of games are, I'm definitely interested to sort of see what that ends up being like.
Okay.
But they also confirmed there was going to be a limited edition Death Stranding PS4, which looks really, really nice. It's got that nice little white and black color scheme and the fitting sort of like transparent yellow controller, which doesn't have a baby in it. Apparently,
it doesn't. I was so sad about that because when you with the animation of when they showed it off, there was a baby inside of it. So I was hoping we were gonna get one of those mini collector's edition baby inside the controllers.
That would have been amazing. But alas, we were scammed. We were
scammed.
Well, see stuff like that.
The baby could have been the Rumble Pack, Hefty.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Rumble baby.
Yeah, in your controller. Yeah.
Imagine that, like a little bobblehead where like every time the controller vibrates, it's just like,
oh my god,
that would get me to buy the controller.
that would have been quite epic.
I feel like having a console edition to games like that's a tough sell right now because we know that new consoles are coming next year, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, do you want? I mean, I get it if you're a collector and you have a lot of disposable money, disposable income that you could just buy up those things. But like if you were looking for a new PlayStation, you'd be looking at next year for the new PlayStations that have upgraded hardware.
Yeah, I mean, literally. I mean, assuming a similar sort of time frame, then you'd literally have that for less than a year, and then it would. I mean, so I think as you say, like it's definitely much more for the collectors out there. But it is always weird. That's why I feel. That's why I thought like some companies were sort of like slowing down because there'll be some games that come out for both systems. It's like, oh, why is it not a collector's one? And obviously, it makes sense that you're getting kind of close to them. But I guess Death Stranding is such a big one for them, right? It's it's obviously Kojima and stuff. It's got to be done.
True. Yeah.
I think a few people saw the cost and they were like,
"What's
pretty cool?
What's the cost?" Oh, the console. Yeah.
I think it's typical PS4 Pro cost. So
okay. Yeah. So
I can't remember what that is off the top of my head, but yeah, it's
400.
So you're looking at like,
yeah,
it's not cheap. It's not cheap what it is, but I kind of hope they like. I do really like it, and like, but I'm just that's a little bit. If they sell the controller on its own, I'll probably pick up the controller because that's quite nice.
Yeah.
But the console is like, maybe not.
Yeah,
maybe
right.
Not.
So the big news,
especially when you factor in they're probably going to they'll probably end up doing a console for like Last of Us as well, right?
Exactly, right?
Oh, probably, yeah.
Yeah. So Last of Us 2 or Part 2, they finally put a date on it.
They did.
February.
I don't remember.
20th or 21st.
I don't remember.
It's February 20th or 21st. Somebody in chat can confirm. But it's February.
The perfect gift for Valentine's Day.
Exactly. It's a Valentine's Last of Us 2 that's finally been confirmed. How long has this game been in development?
Ooh. I don't know.
Also, I think we lost Eric's. He is frozen in digital time right now. He's got a very
happy face, though. He's very happy frozen.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
excited. Look at that.
Excitedly happy and frozen.
The joy of The Last of Us.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Yeah.
let's give it a moment and see if Eric's can reconnect.
Apparently, it's the 21st, February 21st,
I knew
2020.
it's because of the 2020. That's confusing. I'm like 20,
20 is what you'd want to
21st,
do.
20.
Oh,
Oh, there we go.
I got big. Okay, thank God.
I'm back.
There we go.
Welcome back.
Weirdly, I could hear you. I could hear you the whole time, but
Oh,
then
but you couldn't
for some
talk?
Were you
reason,
screaming? Oh,
Yeah.
why did you? No, that's the wrong info.
Okay, so Last of Us 2, February 21st, 2020, coming out.
Yep.
That's the big news of State of Play.
It was, yeah.
Are you excited about Last of Us, Eric's?
I am, yeah, definitely. I think it's one of those things where it's like Last of Us, because it's been such a long time since I played it. I didn't play the remaster. I played it like when it first came out, so it's been a long time since I played it. But I really, really enjoyed it. Like I like any of the sort of Naughty Dog stuff. Like it's just always like really, really good anyway, right? So like I know it's gonna be solid, but it's kind of that point where there's some games you look forward to in a different way, right? Like I know Last of Us is gonna be like a cool story experience, and when it comes out, I just want to like sit for the weekend, close the doors, and just like play uninterrupted, and then come back and be like, all right, cool, let's talk about Last of Us.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't look forward to them in the kind of conventional sense, if that kind of makes sense. Like some games when you know like the gameplay loop, right? You're like, oh, I can't wait for like a new Zelda game or a Monster Hunter game because I'm gonna go and do X, Y, Z. Whereas like Last of Us, I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I just know I'm gonna be there for an emotional ride. So I know it's gonna be fun, but I look forward to it more like I would like a movie where it's like, yeah, I'm just like that date, I'm ready.
I feel you on that. I identify too with like
totally
the movie feel. Yeah, the original, like it told a really powerful story behind that and like the gameplay experience.
Yeah.
And I'm expecting that as well, like powerful stories to be told and emotions to be had in like really tough situations with that. So it's one of those things where if like they don't deliver, it's going to be one of those.
That's the tough thing,
right?
Because it's been such a, because it's like it is as well. It's one of those games where like you could have just never done a Last of Us Part 2 and it would still go down in history as like, yo, you remember The Last of Us? That game was amazing. I wish there was another one. Like they should have definitely like, so if they never made a Part 2, you'd like, it would always, so it's definitely a lot to live up to, right? Because it's the same sort of thing with like, to a degree, I mean, Uncharted, maybe even to a greater extent, because I'd say Last of Us has definitely got a much more impactful story than like Uncharted has.
Yeah.
But yeah, like when you try and sort of follow those games on, like it's gonna have to be, I mean, from the little sort of like gameplay snippets we've seen in some of the little like trailer bits, it looks like it's gonna have those sort of like emotional parts. They cut that trailer in like a really clever way as well, because you don't know like, did you see the trailer from State of Play?
Yeah.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so like when there's the kind of part where you see Joel, like it's cut in a really interesting way. Like you don't know necessarily whether that scene where you see Ellie is the same scene where she's speaking to Joel, or whether it's like cut to some other place. So it's like, what's happening? Like is my guy dead? And is she looking back in the past? Like what's happening?
A
so
flashback or something.
There's yeah. So and I think that's the thing, because people are so invested in the characters as well. Like a lot of people expect something bad to happen to one of them or both of them. But if you don't get it right, people are going to be really upset.
People get pissed. True.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw some people being upset that Ellie looks different because they did it all after the actress's face. So her face is modeled after the actual person who is playing her, which makes her face look a bit different to the original one. So they were like, oh, that's kind of weird because I was super emotionally invested in Ellie and this doesn't look like her. Gamers being gamers.
That's kind of a weird complaint, honestly. Right? Like she also grew up,
She did.
Yeah.
She's also a grown up.
Yeah, so she
got through some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
That's true.
Changes have happened. Like it's I'm sure it's easier too if they need to, with all the facial capture type of stuff, easier to have it look more like what she looks like, so they can do corrections for all that.
Yeah, probably gives you that more realism as well, right? If you're having to like, if you actually base it off like genuine features, then you probably get more emotion in it. So yeah, I mean, the game's looking fantastic. I mean, it's always going to be like a great game, but from everything, like all the clips you've seen, like it looks fantastic, and it's definitely that point now where I'm like, I kind of want to go sort of dark on it. Like I've watched everything up until this point, but again, it's the same thing as like Death Stranding. I'm like, you know what? I don't know what that game is, but I've seen enough to know that I'm along for the ride anyway. I'm like, I don't want to see anymore. Like even the one they dropped for like TGS, it's like, you know, there's the gameplay for people that don't necessarily know what the game is and they want more information. I'm just like, I don't even want to know that. It's like, let me just play this game.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Same.
That's
I
where
know
I'm
the
at,
release
too.
date. I'm good.
Yeah.
Got the release date. I can go now. I'll wait.
Yeah, it's the
I'll
type of
play it.
thing where you don't need to suddenly know about like her new ability to use a compound bow or something like that. She's
Yeah,
like
you're right.
suddenly gained the ability to two-shot with compound bows out in the wild. It's like, no, I don't need none of that. It's all good. I'm just
Nope.
gonna experience the story. Yeah.
Yep,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah.
Go back to the days where we didn't have the internet. We just bought a game and we were in for surprises.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Those days.
Yeah.
They have announced though that they're not there's not going to be multiplayer in it, which again, like, I mean, which is definitely divided the audience online. I mean, surprise, the internet are not happy about this, but like for me, I mean, I honestly didn't mind. Like, I'll be honest, I completely forgot Last of Us even had multiplayer, and I was like, I thought I was just waiting for Last of Us Part 2 for another nice, you know, 20-30 hour cinematic story single player experience that I can then put on my shelf afterwards.
Right.
But then people seem to be outraged that there's no multiplayer. I mean, what do you guys think about that? Like, do you?
So, Last of Us definitely had like a pretty strong multiplayer component, and it was fun.
Okay.
It was like it's like Uncharted in Last of Us settings, and it had actually a pretty decent following as well. Like kind of like
Wasn't that Triple Rex like starting?
I think it was.
ground?
That was
the Last of Us multiplayer.
really?
yeah, that's how he got
Yeah.
started. Was like
Ah.
streaming multiplayer in Last of Us, and he was obviously really
Yeah.
good at it. So like it had this component that was fun and done pretty well, and they had a little bit of an underground following around it because the people love the game, and so they want to experience more of that world, and so multiplayer is a natural extension of just kind of being in that world. So I guess I understand that side of it, where you feel like having a multiplayer component, it's part of the game experience, but I don't know. Like, I'm with you. I'm gonna play the campaign and maybe play one or two
Right.
games of multiplayer, and then be like, cool.
Yeah.
Or I mean, I won't play multiplayer, but like, if
Yeah,
it
'cause
was
it's not
there,
there.
I would
But
just
if it
play.
was
I would just play like 2 games,
Yeah.
for just to check it out.
Yeah, that's the same sort of thing I did like on Uncharted as well. Like both. I mean, yeah. Now you kind of talk about. I do remember like the Last of Us kind of multiplayer. But yeah, same sort of thing. Like the week is out, you're like, all right, let me check it out for a bit. But it's not like a sticking point for me. And I feel like definitely with a game like this, I personally don't feel like it's in any way gonna miss out. And I think when it's a game like this important, everyone's been looking forward to as well. Like I would rather they just put all their efforts on what they, you know, what is ultimately going to be a good product than be like, oh, you know, we need to tack on some multiplayer, and then it end up being like a bit,
Yeah.
You know, I remember
Yeah.
like with Uncharted, like they refined it as they went. But I remember like, what was it? One of the first multiplayers in Uncharted definitely felt quite tacked on. Like it was definitely like, oh, people want this, so we're gonna throw it in. And one of the first like iterations of it was quite janky, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Well,
Mhm.
Last of Us came from that era where it was like, if you have a single player game, it's suicide not to put a multiplayer component into it. And so there was like
Yep.
this 5 to 10 year period of like, you have to put multiplayer into everything, otherwise it's going to fail or it's going to bomb, because Halo exists and Call of Duty exists, and if you don't do this,
Yeah.
your game is going to flop. And like, so that happened for a while, and then we finally are outside of that. You know, like Horizon Zero Dawn, that had no multiplayer, right? I don't.
Yeah,
No.
true.
I don't
Yeah, a
remember.
lot of games are doing that now. They're just like, yeah, no, it's cool. We want to focus on telling the story that we want to tell in the world we want to tell it. We don't need to put multiplayer because it's not a multiplayer game. We didn't make it to be multiplayer.
Yeah.
Yeah, people have been much more okay with that, which is great.
Yeah. And I kind of feel like it's one of those things where a lot of people would be excited for that multiplayer, but then realize they have all these other options for multiplayer.
Yeah.
You know, back then, Destiny and Overwatch and Fortnite and like, you know, you name it, didn't exist when Last of Us multiplayer was happening. So
No, it's true.
yeah. Yeah. So state of play? Basically Last of Us 2 date, right?
Yeah,
Pretty
I'm
much.
surprised we didn't hear more about Ghost of Tsushima, or we didn't hear about a lot of the games that I was super excited to hear more about, but I guess there's just nothing to say about them yet.
Yeah, State of Play has definitely been like, of all the ones they've done so far, they've all been quite odd in a way. Like they're obviously using state of play in a very similar way that like Nintendo do their Nintendo Direct. You know, it's just a thing they can just drop, deliver some info, which is cool. But like, I think this is obviously. I mean, I can't remember the other ones. That's probably goes to sort of show like how little they've shown in them. But like a lot of them have been quite. I mean, I think they're definitely setting them up so that when they do finally start talking about the stuff, they can use that because maybe given the way that they weren't at like E3 this past year, maybe they just want to change the way they're delivering content or like information moving forward, which is fine. But it's just weird that like they set this thing up and then so far, apart from obviously now the Last of Us version, they haven't really had a great deal in them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they are just in that quiet like incubation stage, right, where they're obviously getting ready for next year. They're obviously working on. I'm still interested in sort of think about like when they're going to talk. Are they going to wait till next year, or are they going to bring back like PlayStation Experience this year? Because Xbox have got their next like event in London, XO19, which is like their next
when's that
sort of thing in November.
Oh, November.
November 14th. Yeah. So that's like their next kind of thing to talk about stuff. It might not. I don't expect there to be anything huge there. It might just be a chance to like re-show games to like people in the UK, but they're kind of putting it as like another big showing. So
I thought they confirmed
it might be another opportunity
that there was no PlayStation Experience this year. I could be wrong.
Oh, do they? Oh, okay, fair enough. You might be right.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if there was going to be, they probably would have started talking about it already because people are going to need to like plan for that stuff.
Yeah,
so.
they'd have to book trips and plan. Yeah, exactly. It's like 2 months out essentially from today.
Yeah,
if that was going to happen. The question then is, when are they going to start talking about the new console, like officially, and like, hey, pre-order all that stuff? Like, when do you think that's going to be? Summer next year?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe. Yeah, I mean, because I think the big information is 100% going to be something because it's going to be E3, right? It's going to be the big E3 where they talk about new console. I mean, assuming Sony come back and use E3 as like in the same way. But I mean, I think it's 100% going to be that's where we hear the most information. But they might want to start speaking before then, just to kind of get people at least like seeding the information. So maybe they'll use that. Maybe they'll start like beginning of the year with some state of plays where, do you know how like they've done like a little blog post to kind of talk about like random architecture and stuff they've sort of been building around it. Maybe they'll just do a few dedicated state of plays to lead up to it, just to kind of tease people on a few things, and then that'll like literally light up E3 where they're like, bam, here's PS5, here's our price point, here's our release date, here's the launch titles, Bosch, pre-order it, comes out September.
So
have fun.
My hope is that the launch titles are not like watered down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
definitely.
I really hope that these next consoles have like a nice big splash of like, here's some great titles that showcase the new hardware. And it's awesome. Like I hope that happens.
Like a new God of War.
Yeah.
I'm actually wondering if Ghosts of Tsushima might be a launch title, because by looking at it visually, it was gorgeous. So if they wanted to have something to show off the kind of graphics you can get on it, that might be one that we could look at.
Like the whole ray tracing stuff.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that game was like, that game was beautiful.
Yeah. And that's why I'm hoping there's like a nice collection of awesome games that like have a real immersive experience with the new technology that they're putting in there. And maybe even 60 FPS Destiny 2 upgrade on there.
I really hope.
Maybe.
Fingers crossed.
Really.
Right?
Then I can go back to console and feel happy.
Yeah, PS5, 60
Destiny
FPS.
3 launch title.
Field of View, launch title, exactly.
Sony's like, we know that you kind of kicked us out with the whole Activision thing, but how about we're a launch title, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Do we get Frozen
intently.
Eric's again?
No, he's just listening intently.
Post bong rip Eric's right there. Too much loot bong from Borderlands, guys. That's what happens.
Can someone Photoshop that?
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
Whoa.
Yep, there it is. The reconnect. Eric's is reconnecting.
Eric's is reconnecting.
Almost. Is almost back.
It's thinking about it.
I'm back.
Oh,
there we go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening with Discord. It's definitely Discord today. There's a storm outside, so I'm going to blame that.
It's storming Discord, man. That's what's going on.
Storming.
It is.
It's because Destiny made a Discord. That's why.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Blowing up.
All those fans are just flooding the Discord now and then clogging up the servers, being like, excuse me, when Shadow Keep ready?
Yeah.
When can I migrate my character?
What's New Light? What's a season pass? What's a...
Yeah. Will I be able to shoot my guns in Destiny New Light?
But if I want the thing, do I have to buy the thing?
Will I still be able to use a super if I haven't bought Shadow Keep?
Will you let me have all the new stuff if I don't buy the new expansion?
Yeah, let's say I don't pay for the
No.
game. Can I just still play the raid?
These are the questions. These are
I do
legitimate
love those.
questions. These are
It's
questions.
true. I do love those questions. Like it was the same in like Monster Hunter. It's like, if I don't pay this, can I still fight the new monsters and use the new moves and use everything new? It's
Yeah.
like,
And do the entire
No.
campaign.
My answer is
Exactly.
always, did you buy the thing? You can do the thing. Did you not buy
Yeah.
the thing? You can't do the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, look at that.
But
It's easy.
but I
Simple.
bought Forsaken. Come on.
Oh dear.
Oh man. What else was going on this last week? What did we have?
There was the open beta for Ghost Recon
yeah.
Breakpoint.
Yeah, there was. I heard good things, so I'm excited to hear about it. Excited to hear.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I didn't play a huge amount of Ghost Recon Wildlands. Like I like, you know, I enjoy. Like, I really enjoy those kind of tactical games. And like Wildlands, I played it initially. I played some stuff to begin with, and it was kind of fun. But it was all too. You know, you could still like play it tactically, but it was all too easy just to kind of like run in guns blazing and then just like blitz your way through it. It kind of I felt like it sort of distilled that experience a little bit. But this one, there's a stronger focus on like survival elements. So I always feel like there's a lot more stuff in this that forces you into. I mean, you can still go in guns blazing, but that forces you into those kind of tactical situations. So when we were playing on stream, there were like 4 of us together. We were like genuinely in those situations where you throw your drone up, you scan everyone, we're sneaking in, trying to like put silencers on everything and like take everyone out like you would, like you expect in like a Ghost Recon game. And it was like a really, really cool experience.
Okay.
So I feel like it's definitely sort of taken the foundation of Wildlands, but then worked in some more tactical stuff, because there's even stuff where like you you can kind of monitor your stamina by like eating and stuff to make sure, because it's got those survival aspects. So there's definitely the more, I guess, what you would kind of sort of expect in like a battle royale kind of game. You get injured, you need to kind of go down and like bandage up and stuff, and you need to like eat to kind of keep yourself topped up. So there's definitely more of those like slightly more realistic elements to it. But yeah, I mean, I say that, and then you're bombing down a mountain on like a bike and I'm flipping around and everything. So there's still some crazy silly stuff you can
Realistic,
do.
yeah.
But yeah, exactly, right. But no, yeah, when it really comes to, I think it's definitely, it's also going to be one of those things that is like make or break with like your people you play with, because like we all agreed as a team, like we want to do this stealthily, like we don't want to be seen, we want to like do everything like full on tactics. So, and then that kind of created the experience. So I feel like some of that is maybe like with who you play, but yeah, I mean, I was impressed with it. It's definitely a game that was sort of snuck under my radar. I forgot it was coming out this week. It comes out in Friday. So this Friday.
Oh, this Friday.
Yeah. So I definitely kind of forgot it was coming out that soon. But then having played it, I was like, no, I definitely really want to be playing this myself. So yeah,
okay,
enjoyed it.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I've got very little interest in this stuff. Like,
yeah,
sometimes the military shooter type of stuff gets my interest. Like Division is able to do that from time to time, but like usually these, unless it's like some exciting things going on and everybody's super buzzed about it, I'm typically not like sold as a gamer.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Fair. Yeah. Well, this one is also, technically speaking, a looter shooter, because you get loot, and the armor you get, like the hats and the clothes and the boots, they all carry stats. They have rarities.
Oh, they do have stats. Nice.
They have, yeah. So you're actually, there's actually more to, like, whereas I can't actually remember whether Wildlands had that or not. So someone correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, like, you go around and like you're killing enemies, they're dropping stuff, you'll find like loot chests and you'll get stuff like that, and then obviously you'll get upgrades to your guns that are the better versions, the higher rarity versions. You obviously also still have all the customization stuff that you're used to from Ghost Recon games. So you can mod your weapons, put on like different grips and magazines and sights and silencers. Like that part I do really like. Like when it comes to you want to go stealthy, you physically screw on a silencer like in game, and then you're like, all right, stealth mode engage kind of thing. But yeah, there's a added loot component, which
cool.
Ties into the fact that there are, I don't know how, they haven't really said much about them, so I don't know how they will work in this game, but the game is going to have raids as well. So I would imagine there will only be like 4-player, because that's the typical squad size. They haven't said anything about like having multiple squads or anything, but I mean, I'm sure we'll find out more about that at some point. But yeah, they're definitely like, there is like an end game activity for this,
Mhm.
more so than just like exploring the world and completing the missions and stuff. So there's definitely a lot more to do in this one.
Now, Wildlands original
So-
was like really big. The map was enormous,
Yeah.
right? Are they? Is it also really big at this one, Breakpoint?
This one, I mean, from what I got in the beta, it looks pretty damn big. I mean, I haven't I didn't really get to go like too far in it, but I mean, even in the beta space, like when I'm just sort of like bombing it around, like we crashed our helicopter, so we had to do everything on foot or like on bikes, and then I was driving from one side to the other for this mission, and it was a big map. So I think they're still going for that massive sort of scale.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Mm.
the other thing too about Wildlands was like it was cool to clear out an area or like a what was it called, a point, you know,
Stronghold.
yeah, like a stronghold.
Yeah.
Like those were definitely cool, but I noticed they felt kind of samey across the board after a while.
Mm.
You know, I don't know if you picked up on that too, but I'm wondering if they've changed some of those things with Breakpoint, made the AI or the type of encounters not feel so similar to the way you go through them. I don't know.
Interesting, yeah. I didn't really get to do too much of that in the build that I played, so I'm not too sure on that one just yet. But yeah, that is definitely something to keep in mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
It definitely sounds more interesting with it having that loot component to
Yep.
it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, I definitely think like this is definitely for me more so like a game that even though it has that like ongoing loot component, it's not a game that I would see myself playing indefinitely like I would a typical looter shooter. Like I do still, for my Ghost Recon experience, I still think I just want to get through the campaign, like do that, like have a nice sort of like 20-30 hours with my squad and just like stealth through the missions, and then I'm probably going to be good with it. But
yeah,
still, it's nice to have all those options. Like the fact they're going to be putting in that, I think they're going to be having like post-launch content and stuff. So I mean, everything is doing that now, you know. Anyway, but it seems that they want to have like give you reasons to like go back to it. So definitely one. I think it's at least one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, putting the term raid into the post-launch content seems to be a buzz right now. Being like, it's got a raid.
Yeah.
There's a raid.
Got a raid. And it's like
apparently this one's in a volcano.
Now.
Ooh, in a volcano. Okay, that's interesting. Get volcano gear.
No question how.
Yeah,
but there you go. Special volcano camo for your gun. It's got to be done.
Magma.
Calm down.
You're holding molten magma
camo.
in your
Yeah, it's got to be done.
That actually sounds pretty cool. Yeah, nice. Anything else happened last week?
I'm sure it did, so. But I don't recall.
Yeah.
Anything.
The big ones.
That were the main things, to be honest.
The big one is definitely Last of Us getting a date. Yeah, because that game has had, I feel like 3 or 4 years of we're about to give a date, and then it's like, nope.
Yep.
Yeah.
In fact, it was like, is it even going to come out in the PS4 life? You know, the actual lifespan of the PS4. So at the very end, it's getting it. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if they do end up doing that, like release at the end of the PS4 life cycle and then just do like a PS5 version as well.
Seems like they will. I would bet that they would.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Well.
Cool.
Awesome.
Is that the show?
I think so.
I believe. Yeah.
SideQuest complete.
It's been an hour.
Completed.
Look at us. Most efficient.
On time as always. Super
on time.
Punctual podcasters.
Hey, I like
well,
it. I like it. My favorite.
All right, guys.
We struggle a little bit.
Thank you very much for watching the show. We really appreciate all the support, guys. This has been SideQuest episode number 20. If you want to find more of me, you can talk to me at Teft on Twitter and catch my streams twitch.tv/TeftyTeft. I will be playing a buttload of Shadowkeep this week because that is launching tomorrow. And there's going to be a grind.
And you got to carry Briar in the raid.
Briar's got to get carried.
It's going to be 70 light under.
Yep.
So.
Also Fran, because he's going to have bad RNG and he's going to complain about it. So with the changes. So I have to carry Fran too. So, it'll be fun. Yeah.
I am Miss 5000 Watts. You could find me in about 10 minutes playing more Code Vein if you're alive. Gonna try and finish the game, hopefully, maybe. And then, of course, tomorrow we're kicking off the Destiny grind. So just search for Miss 5000 Watts on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. You'll find me.
Nice.
In
And
the
you can find
channel.
me at
Yeah, okay.
Arix over on Twitter and ArixG over on YouTube. I'm not too sure what we'll do this week. So got loads of different videos, random videos. So tune in for a wild ride.
Nice.
Wild ride.
Wild.
There you go.
On the wild lands.
Eric's wild ride.
Hey. There we go.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next
Thanks,
week.
guys. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.